It's hard to believe that we are about a third of the way through 2024, and if grocery prices these days have you shaking your head, then you're gonna wanna watch this video, because I'm going to share with you lots of products that I think are still a fantastic deal at Walmart. These are some of my budget-friendly favorites for families from Walmart. It's been about a year since I made a video on this same topic, so I thought it would be interesting to start out by revisiting the list from that video and going into Walmart and seeing what those products that I mentioned in that video are costing today at the time of filming. I think you're gonna be surprised. This premium brand of bread that's sort of like the Pepperidge Farm or the Oro wheat, it was $2.48 for a loaf last year. It's $2.57 this year, so not too bad, but a 9-cent increase. 24 ounces of cottage cheese was $2.48 last year. It's now $2.67. A 3-pack of romaine hearts is $3.24 today. They were $2.88 last year. A pound of 80/20 grass-fed ground beef has gone up 90 cents from last year. It was $4.96 a pound last year. It's $5.86 a pound today. For the longest time, the bottles of the basic spices were 98 cents. Now they are $1.12 for most of them, a few of them even more than that. This same size box of our favorite cereal last year was $2.82. Now it is $3.27. A 6-pack of applesauce was $2.14. It's $2.24 today. Here's some good news for you. There are multiple items from last year's list that are the same price today. They are the 6-count English muffins at $1.50, the 32-ounce whole milk plain Greek yogurt at $3.54, same price for the non-fat. The Roma tomatoes fresh, 98 cents a pound. The mini cucumbers, $1.97 for a pound. The Great Value popcorn kernels at $2.28 for 2 pounds, or the Jolly Time for $2.26 for 2 pounds. The Great Value ranch mix at 50 cents. The Great Value 17.6 ounce gnocchi for $1.97. The Great Value brand frozen bean burritos 8-count at $3.82. And the Rhodes Bake and Serve cinnamon rolls from the frozen section, $4.84. And yes, I did make sure that all of those products are the same size as well. So not only are they the same price, they're the same size. No inflation, no shrinkflation, at least in my Walmart today. Speaking of shrinkflation, here's an example. Last year, the 24-ounce jars of Great Value picante or salsa they were up to $1.98. I remember them being as low as like $1.36. I noticed the other day that they are $1.77 now, but they're only 16 ounces, whereas before they were 24. So the price is bumped a little back down, but you're getting less. Okay, this is interesting. The Great Value brand Cantina style tortilla chips were up from last year. They were up $2.24 from $1.98. The price has been rolled back right now. Let me see if it's still, I think it was 13 ounces. Yep, still 13 ounces, so same price. This time last year, a dozen eggs cost me around $2.46, and today they are $2.06. So this is one of those things that fluctuates wildly. They're still a little pricier in my area than they were just a couple months ago, but still down from this time last year. When it comes to staying on a tight grocery budget, a lot of times you're gonna need to simplify. You're gonna need to use really simple ingredients, cook more from scratch, stick with those canned goods, those seasonal fruits and vegetables, those inexpensive starches like pasta and rice, and build your meals around those things. And those types of simple ingredients that are the basic building blocks of meals, especially in house brands, generic brands, are definitely at the top of my list of budget finds. But for this video, I wanted to think outside the box and show you some different things that are surprisingly good deals, some things that still allow you to keep some luxury and some convenience in your grocery haul, but that I think are a really good value for the dollar. We're coming over here to my freezers so that I can show you these, which I found in my Walmart freezer section recently. It is a box of sausage, egg, and cheese croissant sandwiches individually wrapped. This is a box of 4 and it cost me a little over $5. Now, most of the time when I am buying a convenience product, I know that I'm going to pay a little bit more because it's saving me time. I'm trading some of my money to get back some of my time. But occasionally I find something that is still a good deal from the price point. And when it comes to these little sandwiches, That's what we're talking about. So this box has 4 of these little croissant sandwiches. They're a pretty good size. I mean, see, they're the size of my hand, and you can heat them up individually. It's a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. And honestly, when I price out the ingredients for these little sandwiches, I cannot make them from scratch for cheaper than this box cost me, at least not right now or without scouring sales and clearances. Just a package of croissants at my Walmart is gonna cost me about as much as this box of already made up sandwiches. But if we're talking about cheap breakfast options, oatmeal is almost always going to be at the top of that list, right? I mean, it's pretty versatile. There's lots of different ways that you can make it. There's lots of different things you can add in according to your tastes and preferences. But in my experience, oatmeal almost always is something that we are serving sweet. Like we add yogurt, we add fruit, we add sweeteners to it, we add peanut butter. And I'm a person who likes a savory breakfast sometimes. Like I'm really craving something kind of salty for breakfast. So something similar to oatmeal, but still shelf stable and inexpensive, are grits. And you can buy grits in a container like the oatmeal comes in, or you can buy it in little packets like this. All you have to do is add water. And then if you want more protein, you can make it with milk, you can add cheese, and actually grits in general are a really great vessel for leftover protein. So if you have like leftover taco meat or leftover chicken, sometimes you can put that on top of your grits in the morning, and you can have like a more savory breakfast with a really inexpensive starch. This 12-count box of grits, they make a plain too. I have the butter flavor right now, but this 12-count box cost me $2.08 at my Walmart, so only 17 cents per pouch. Not too bad in my book as a budget find goes. This box of premium shells and cheese in the Great Value brand is half the price of the Velveeta shells and cheese name brand, and I think it's a pretty good dupe. In fact, I think the Walmart Great Value brand of this product is better than the Aldi version. And yes, I know that this is a processed thing and that some people don't care for it. That's fine, but let me tell you some of the reasons why I like to use this occasionally. Unlike regular box mac and cheese, which requires the addition of butter and milk, this comes with everything you need to make it if you have a heat source and water. That's also another reason why I think it makes a great addition to an emergency meals bin like the one that I keep in the bottom of my pantry. It can also be a great thing to take on like a camping trip or in an RV, or if you're going to an Airbnb, because it's shelf stable, and again, everything you need to make it is right here. You don't have to add anything else. But another reason I really like this product and think it's a great deal is because it can be a great jumping off point or shortcut for making a family meal. In fact, I featured one in a recent video that utilizes a couple boxes of this, a little bit of ground beef, some taco seasoning, and some tomatoes, like some Rotel, some kind of canned tomato product, to make this really easy taco mac and cheese. It comes together quickly, and those ingredients make for a really inexpensive meal. And again, this is something that you can just keep in your pantry to be able to throw a meal like that together really quickly. Shout out to all the people out there like me who grew up thinking that this is all there is when it comes to Parmesan cheese, that like this is it in the world of Parmesan. And I'm not knocking the green can shaky Parmesan cheese. I still use it. It's still a delicious topping. But I was much older, like a teenager, before I learned that Parmesan looks like this in a wedge. However, if you're on a tight budget, it can be kind of pricey. Even at Aldi, these are nearing $6 for a little 8-ounce wedge. And I use this a lot in my cooking, but it's really hard to get it into my budget cooking because the price for a unit is pretty high, even if I only plan to use a little bit of it. That's why I was really excited a few months back when I saw that Frigo, the Frigo brand of cheese, is making a little 5-ounce wedge of Parmesan, and it is under $3 at my Walmart. So if you're on a tight budget, but you still want to do things like homemade Alfredo, you want to use that in your sauces and your soups and not the green can shaky stuff, then I think that's a little bit more of a budget-friendly option if you don't have the money up front to invest in a big wedge of it. I've got a really fun sponsor for this video just in time for Mother's Day. It's Body Restore, and they're offering 20% off their collector's box today, which would make a really fantastic gift. Body Restore shower steamers help you elevate your shower experience with aromatherapy. It's a little tablet that you set on the floor of your shower while you're taking a shower. You don't put it directly in the stream of water, you put it sort of outside of the water, but then as you're taking a shower, a little bit of the water drips onto it and helps to activate the scent. It's April right now, and for the last month and probably for another couple of months, I am dealing with allergies. So I have really enjoyed using the Body Restore Eucalyptus and Mint shower steamers. The Body Restore Collector's Box comes with 30 tablets in 10 different scents. And we have the Eucalyptus Mint, which is one of my favorites, the Citrus Grove, the Lavender, the Floral Rose, the Fresh Tea Tree, Bergamot Spring, Cocoa Orange, Chamomile, Jasmine, and Milk Honey. Mother's Day is right around the corner, and right now you can get 20% off this collector's box from Body Restore when you visit the link in the description box below and you use the code CMindyMom. Body Restore uses only natural essential oils that will not leave the shower floor slippery. They never use color or flower petals or artificial fragrance oils, so they dissolve smoothly with each use. So relax, refresh, and emerge energized with Body Restore shower steamers. Just visit the link in the description box below and use the code CMindyMom to get 20% off the collector's box. And thank you again to Body Restore for sponsoring today's video. I want to talk about bread for a minute. Bread, which is a pretty big essential in a lot of family kitchens. I think we can all agree, right? When I was in Walmart yesterday, a loaf of just generic store brand sandwich bread was up to $1.42. And that's not a terrible price, but if you have been thinking about experimenting more with making your bread or your bread products from scratch, but you don't know where to start or you're a little overwhelmed by it because bread can be kind of tricky even though it's fairly simple ingredients, then I have a baby step for you. You might have heard of Rhodes rolls before in the freezer section. They're little frozen dough balls and you just let them thaw and rise and you bake them up and you have fresh rolls. In a lot of grocery stores and about the same area in the freezer section, there is another Rhodes product. It is this right here, the Rhodes Thaw, Rise, and Bake White Bread Frozen Dough. And these are actually loaves of dough. There are 5 of them in a package, and this package cost me $6.27 yesterday, so that comes out to around $1.25 per loaf. And the process is very similar to the rolls. I just put it into a greased loaf pan and let it thaw and rise until it's about double, bake it up in the oven, and then I have a loaf of fresh bread. And it's probably not quite the same size as a standard grocery store loaf, but they're absolutely delicious in my opinion. But another great thing about these is that they're super versatile. I mean, you don't just have to use them to make loaves of bread. You can turn them into buns, you can turn them into rolls. I have used them to make sweetbreads like cinnamon rolls. Rhodes roll dough also makes really fantastic monkey bread. You can also use it as a pizza crust or to make strombolis or pizza pockets. I mean, there's just lots of ways that you can use this bread as a shortcut for a bread dough that's already made. Chips can be a difficult thing to duplicate, I think, because they just have like a very singular taste and texture. But in my opinion, Walmart's chip game and their Great Value brand is on point. You already know that I pick up their tortilla chips a lot, but these are 2 others that I will grab from time to time that I think are pretty spot on. These are the Frito dupe, and they're specifically like the dip ones, the ones that are like bigger that you can use to dip. And I find that they are pretty close to the name brand variety. And the same goes for the Cheetos. And I'm actually pretty surprised by this because I think that these are, again, hard to mimic. It's a hard flavor and a hard texture to mimic. But coming in at about half the price of the name brand, I think that these are a pretty good find at Walmart. And like I said, in my opinion, can't really taste the difference. These little muffin mix pouches are something you see me use in my meal plans from time to time. I especially like using them in budget meal plans. They are still just $1.12 at my Walmart, and they don't require any eggs, any butter, any oil, only a half a cup of milk. Plus, I have figured out a way to stretch this from making 6 muffins to making 10 muffins. And since there are 5 people in my family, that means 2 muffins per person. So let me show you how I do that. For comparison, I can pick up a box of 12 individually wrapped snack size muffins for $3.97. And those are actually about the same size as the muffins that this little pouch produces. Actually, the store-bought ones may be a little bit smaller than the ones that I make with the pouch mix. And even with me stretching it a little bit with some pantry ingredients, I'm still not using the expensive stuff like eggs and dairy, really just a few pennies worth of ingredients that I keep on hand in the kitchen anyway to take this from 6 muffins to 10. And yes, muffins made completely from scratch would taste a lot better, but I don't think I can make them for cheaper, especially considering the cost of the blueberries, fresh or frozen. Unless I've got a blueberry bush in the backyard, I'm probably getting the best bang for my buck with this right here, which is why I think it's a pretty good good budget find. This next one is not necessarily a food, it is food related. And actually it's something that a lot of us would consider essential, and that is coffee. But I wanna mention this little coffee maker that I purchased at Walmart a few years back. It is still there and it is still under 10 bucks. I have been getting away from the K-Cups. I just don't think that they taste as good anymore, and I've been using more ground coffee. I especially like freshly ground coffee if I can get it, you know, at Whole Foods or Sprouts or from local places. This one isn't fresh, but it came from Aldi. It's a blueberry coffee that I'm really enjoying. The problem I run into though, and comment down below if you're like me, is that I live in a household with a person who doesn't drink the same kind of coffee I do. My husband mostly drinks half calf or decaf. So if I'm using my coffee to make the smallest amount of coffee that my K-Cup Duo carafe will make, it's making way more coffee than I can drink in a single day, and it's going to waste. So a few years back, I actually found this little coffee maker at Walmart, and yesterday I noticed it was still there and it is still under 10 bucks. It takes up very little space on the counter. It can be tucked away easily if you're not using it, but it allows you to make as little as just 1 cup of coffee. For me, the perfect amount is to pour in the water for 4 cups and then do 3 heaping tablespoons of coffee grounds. And it makes about 2 cups of coffee for me, which is just right. And I'm not wasting it like I am when I make the big carafe of it. And just a little hint, if you do end up picking that up, it takes the smaller filters, the 4 to 6 cup, not the big standard size that are 8 to 12 cups. And I actually find these usually with the coffee makers, not in the coffee aisle for some reason. I wanted to stop by my laundry room really quickly so I could talk about one more non-food budget find at Walmart, and that is these wool dryer balls. I buy the ones that come in this little pouch, and there are 6 of them. They're a little under $12 right now at Walmart, which might seem steep, but honestly, we're a family that is probably doing at least a dozen loads of laundry a week, with 5 people in the household, with kids who are athletes, with lots of towels and sheets and dish towels that need to be washed. We are easily doing that much laundry, and these have taken the place of dryer sheets. So I have not purchased dryer sheets in years now, and these last a long time. In fact, I usually end up just buying a new bag whenever these have like walked off somewhere. They've rolled under people's beds and I can't find them anymore until later. So I think this is a really great budget find, and if you were looking for a way to cut back on those kinds of household purchases, then I can highly recommend these. They work great for us. That may just be us, but they work really great. That's my personal opinion, and I'm really glad that I found these. I am a sucker for soft serve ice cream. I like it when, you know, restaurants and fast food places offer that on their menu. And when I was a little girl, I even used to make my ice cream into soft serve ice cream by just stirring it really well until it was a lot softer. So I was excited to see that Blue Bunny is offering sort of a soft serve variety. This is the peanut butter cup, but they have lots of different flavors to choose from. Now, I know a lot of people, when they think of soft serve ice cream, think of Dairy Queen. Here in Oklahoma, we don't have a lot of Dairy Queens because we have Brahms. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Brahms is fantastic. You'll have to try it out when you come. However, when we're driving down to Texas to see grandparents, occasionally we see that Texas stop sign and we will stop at a Dairy Queen, and almost always I am getting a Blizzard, which is made from soft serve ice cream at Dairy Queen. So out of curiosity, I wanted to see how much a small Blizzard costs these days. A small Blizzard, which is 12 ounces of ice cream plus a little bit of topping in there. And I was shocked to find out that the price right now is $5.39. That is for a 12-ounce small. For comparison, this container of soft serve ice cream is 46 ounces. So that would be the equivalent of 4 small Blizzards worth of ice cream, and I got it for $4.48. You can get a 5-count package of Reese's peanut butter cups for $1.18 at my Walmart right now. This 12-count package is $2.47. So for about the same price as one of those Dairy Queen Blizzards would cost me, I can make about 4 of them from these products that I can pick up at Walmart. So I think that's a pretty good deal and definitely worth trying if you're looking for a little bit of a soft treat. Let me know if you've tried this stuff out and if you like it. I'm not gonna lie, this is my lunch today. Occupational hazard. I had to make it for the video, so I don't want it to go to waste. Somebody's got to eat it. Taking one for the team. What are you seeing at your Walmart that you think is a surprisingly good deal? Leave me a comment below. And if you want more budget shopping and cooking content, check out one of these videos next. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one.